Hello, Stitchy friends. How's everyone doing? Today is Tuesday, March 17th, 2026, St. Patrick's Day. So if you are celebrating, happy St. Patrick's Day to you. This was the day where I always forgot to wear green when I was going to school, in like middle school and elementary school, and I'd always get pinched. Was that a thing for you too, where if you don't wear green, people can pinch you that day? I'm actually not wearing green today. I don't have green here with me in Florida, but happy St. Patrick's Day. Welcome. My name is Andrew Winston. My dog is laying on my lap. You can't see him right now, but I promise he's there. Maybe he'll poke up his head up at some point. But this is Flosstube number 84. My name is Andrew, as I said, and this is the Runner Stitcher, my channel where I talk primarily about cross stitch, a little bit about running, a little bit about walking, and whatever else is coming to my mind, like St. Patrick's Day. But I hope you're all doing well. I hope you had a wonderful week, and I'm so happy that you're back here. If you are new and recently subscribed to the channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm really glad you're here. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. It really does mean the world to me. And yeah, I've just loved getting to connect and meet with you all. As you know, last week I did a giveaway for reaching 7,000 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you so much for all of the kind comments. I know a lot of the comments were to enter into the giveaway as well, but there were some really, really meaningful ones, and really ones that really stuck out to me and helped me for where I was last week. Last week was a tougher week for me, and it just meant the world to have your support and your kindness sort of coming my way. So I can't say thank you enough for that. I really, really do appreciate it. But let's move on to the giveaway now. So the first thing that I was giving away was this Nerge hoop right here. The keyword to enter this giveaway was Nerge. We had 81 comments for this one, and I will put a picture of the winner of their comment up here, but it was Pediatric X Stitcher. So congratulations, you are the winner of this Nerge hoop. So if you could go ahead and send me an email to therunnerstitcher@gmail.com with your mailing address, I will pop this in the mail to you, and congratulations, you're the winner of the Nerge hoop. Again, that was Pediatric X Stitcher. Congratulations. The next giveaway I was doing was for a $25 gift card to 123 Stitch. The keyword that I had to use was 7, S-E-V-E-N, and there were 207 comments for this one. And I'll put a picture up here of the comment of the winner. The winner is TK Shan Holtz. I think I'm saying that right, but TK Shan Holtz. So congratulations, you are the winner of the gift card for 123 Stitch. If you could go ahead and send me an email also to therunnerstitcher@gmail.com. So I have your email address and know where you would like the gift card sent. That would be great. And congratulations to both of you for winning. And yeah, again, I'm just so grateful that this channel has, led me to all of you, and that we're all here on this cross-stitch journey and life journey together. And it means a lot to me. So I'm super, super thrilled to be at 7,000 subscribers and continue growing and continue meeting more of you. It's awesome. So thanks for being here. I also want to say a quick thank you to Helen, who took advantage of the Buy Me a Coffee link. Thank you so much. That was very kind. I really do appreciate your gesture. Thank you so much. All right, I feel like we do have a lot to kind of go through today. So let's just jump right into the projects. The first thing I usually talk about is my Whip into Shape piece. And if you are new here, I kind of detail what Whip into Shape is in a previous video where it says Whip into Shape starts now. That's the title of the video. But it's basically where you can stitch along with walking videos that I'm posting this time around. Since last week, I posted only one video. I thought I was going to post two, and the week just got away from me. So I didn't get the second one posted, but I did post one walk that was an additional 223 stitches if you're stitching for the miles. And that was of Daytona Beach. So there's some lovely, lovely views of the beach there, some time on the road where we can see all the motorcycles as well, and a little bike show at the very beginning of the video as well, which is pretty cool. But so that was the walk that I posted. This coming week, I will be posting one more video, and that is the video that I walked in St. Augustine. So that's a really fun one. I hope you enjoy that one, to see that old city and some of the architecture and all the fun things that are there. So that will be coming this week. Probably on Thursday morning is when I will post that one. Now, as you know, last week I was already behind in my Whip into Shape project. And this week, unfortunately, I put 0 stitches into it. So Elizabeth Masterton did not get worked on this week, unfortunately. And so if I add what I was behind in last time and the new stitches, 223 stitches from this week's, I'm now behind 541 stitches. So I have got to get caught up with that, just like all of you. I know we're starting to fall behind on things, and that's totally okay. Like I said, I was gonna have 2 videos last week, I only did 1. I was gonna have 2 more videos this week, but I'm only gonna have 1. So we're gonna kind of slow the pace a little bit just to give us some time to catch up and to keep stitching. And we'll see where I'm at next week. Maybe I'll do a week off from the week walking videos the following week, just so I can get caught up and you can get caught up. But we'll see where I'm at next week. If not, I'll just keep posting 1 a week, and until we feel like we're in a better place to get caught up on the stitches. Yeah, so I hope you're enjoying the challenge. I hope you are stitching along and catching up as much as you can. But yeah, unfortunately, Elizabeth Masterton did not get worked on. That being said, I do have a lot of WIPs to share with you, and I did make some good progress on some of them. So let's go ahead and jump into my WIPs. WIPs are works in progress, and these are projects that I've already started and I'm continuing to work on, some of them getting close to a finish. So the first one I want to share with you is Woodland Enchantress. Here is what this is going to look like. It's this beautiful kit from Dimensions, and I am using all the kit materials, kit floss, kit fabric, everything. And now this was only called for 1 day of temperature stitching, so 100 stitches. I did actually put in 237, but they were all half stitches. So I decided to work in the background this time to kind of make that section go faster, but I did double the stitches so that it would add up to 100 stitches. So 237 half stitches puts me at 44.54% on this piece. And here is where she's at now. So it might be a little bit hard to tell what I worked on, but basically I brought down more of these half stitches in here, and I worked on this section right through here. So that is where all those half stitches went in. Her hair, I'm almost at the point where her hair is ready to backstitch, but not quite. I've still got a little bit more of the background to go in here, and yeah, that's what I worked on. So nothing too fancy to see, but you know, everything has to be done. Everything has to be stitched. So that is Woodland Enchantress, again, using all the called for materials. All right, next up we've got another temperature stitching piece, and that was Under the Oaks. This is a kit from Merejka. I absolutely love this one. I'm having so much fun with it. And again, this one was only called for 1 day, so 100 stitches, but I did work on it in an evening, so I got a little bit above that. I ended up doing 255 and a half stitches for putting me at 3.6% on this piece. And here's where I'm at now. So what did I do this time? Well, I basically I think the diagonal had ended around here, so I brought that all the way down through here, and I'm almost at the blues, the darker blues here, to continue going on that diagonal. So that is what the trees look like so far. I think that looks absolutely great. I'm really, really happy with it, and it's been so much fun to stitch. I love seeing the colors kind of come together in those trees, and yeah, we're almost at the bottom of this diagonal. So next week we'll definitely reach the end of this diagonal and probably start up here at the top on the next one. I think we've got like 2 more diagonals until we hit the beginning of some funner pieces, not just the leaves and trees. But that's a big part of this piece, so it's why it's there. But really enjoying this. Again, a kit from Merejka, and I'm using all the kit materials, including the Ada and the floss that was coming in the kit. So that is Under the Oaks. All right, the next piece I worked on was SAGA. This is from Long Dog Samplers. Here's what this piece is going to look like. I'm just having so much fun with this one, and I will pop a video in here where I was when I started the week. Here's my starting point for SAGA. Hopefully you will see a mostly completed arch, and you will be getting the story this time. So here it is now. Now, I feel like I'm going to let some of you down today, and I apologize for that. So far, all of the SAGA arches have had stories that kind of go along with them, and I've been sharing them as we get the arch mostly completed and hearing those stories. And I just assumed, without even looking, that every single arch had a story to go with it. Well, it turns out the arch I'm working on now doesn't actually have a story in the PDF storybook. So there is no story to go along with this arch today. However, I was able to find on their website, there's a little blip that talks about this arch on the description of the piece. So I'm just going to read that to you. It's very short, only like 2 sentences, but that'll give you a little bit of an idea of maybe the story behind the arch. And I was going to see if you would maybe come up with a story for this arch and let me know what you think the story should be. So here's what it says. This is our 21st century take on the Garden of Eden, aimed to reflect the diversity of life in this ever-changing era. There are 3 options to choose from, which are all charted: the traditional Adam and Eve, Adam and Steve, or Alice and Eve. Cummings, the snake in the grass with a seductive voice, remains unchanged and unperturbed in all 3 versions. He says, "Come on, I sense you covet this. No one need ever know except thee and me." He comes from Yorkshire. Did I mention that? So that's a little mini story that is there on their website for this arch, but not included in the PDF category of stitches. So now that you have that kind of little story, I'm going to show you where I'm at with this arch. So this is SAGA Long Dog Samplers. I'm stitching this on a 36 count Vintage Country Mocha with Silks for You PR207, 1 strand of silk over 2 linen threads. And let's zoom in here to the arch I'm working on. So this is where I'm at here. And basically what I completed are all of these kind of bigger flower motifs right here in the center. And I put the back stitching in for the names for Adam and Steve. And the reason I thought it was cool to stick with that is AS are my initials as well. So now my initials are in the piece, just like that. But you can see I started this person here, Adam, and I did not finish his head, so his head is missing. Steve will be over here. Here is this snake that's in the grass that's still tempting them. And basically what I have left to finish is this second person here, and then there's a big design, not big, but there's a design that goes right in through there. And then this arch will be completed. So this is their 21st century take on the Garden of Eden, and I do think it's a lovely arch. I do wish that there was a story that was included, but I would encourage you to put, what do you think this story is saying? Why do you think there are helicopters here? What do you think this squirrel is doing off to the side? And what is this bird perched up here for? If you have any fun stories that you want to share that might fit this SAGA arch, let me know in the comments below for sure. But this is SAGA, and I was able to add this week, let me pull up my notes again, I was able to add in 567 stitches. That puts me at 59.26%. So we are getting very close to the 60% mark, which is really exciting on a piece this big. But that is SAGA. All right, the next piece I worked on was Fruits of Plenty. This is from Modern Folk Embroidery. Here's what this is going to look like. And I knew I wanted to make this a focus piece this week, and I sure did, which was really good. I'll pop a video in here where I was when I started the week. I think I've got that video. Here's my starting point for Fruits of Plenty for the week, and I'm going to try to finish this medallion this week. So all the light green spots in here I'm going to try to do. I'll also try to bring down this light green a little bit here, but I'm really going to make a focus on this, so we'll see how far I get. You'll see it now. And this is probably most of the reason why Elizabeth Masterton just did not get worked on at all, because this became such a focus. But I ended up adding 2,393 stitches, and that puts me at 96.16%. If you've been here at this channel for a little bit, you know that my goal for this month of March is to complete this piece, since it's Modern Folk Embroidery March, according to Kat from Catkin and Lily. And I'm really trying to get this one finished in support of Modern Folk Embroidery March. So 96% feels really great. I've got just over 1,800 stitches left on this piece, and I think there's 800 of the dark green and maybe just over 1,000 of the light green. So we are getting very close, but let's just show you where I'm at now. This is Fruits of Plenty, stitched on a 32 count smoky white linen. I'm using 2 DMC colors, 890 and 320. So this is the full piece. It's almost getting too big for the camera. I love that. But let's zoom in a little bit and show you what I worked on today, or this week, I mean. So the first thing was I did finish this whole medallion here. All of the light green stitches were added this week, including this flower at the top and those 2 at the bottom. and the little berries that are in there as well. I brought down this section right here in the greens and completed this little triangle right here. I actually put in the year now, so it says 2/6, and that means I have to finish it this year. It doesn't say March of 26, but that's my goal. But yeah, the year is now in, so we've got 26, and I actually completed this medallion as well. So these hands are new, I think this heart is new, and most of the little parts around it I had completed before. And then, yeah, just kind of brought down this green here in this next triangle that I'll be working on next. So really what I've got left is the big bowl of berries that goes right here, and then these two triangle motifs that are left there. Now this one does have some confetti stitching in, I was seeing. There's single stitch, not confetti, there's single stitches where, you know, they're not my favorite, but I'll do them for sure. Kind of a lot like these single stitches that were all over this piece here. But I think it's looking absolutely wonderful. I can't believe I am this far on this piece. In a way, it feels like I just started it, and in some ways it feels like it's been with me for a long time. So yeah, it feels really good to be getting close to the end. You know, this is the very bottom of the piece. The very bottom does have a row of the darker stitches. As you can see, I've completed it on this side, so that will have to go all the way over to the edge. But we're getting very, very close now. So we'll see. With less than 2,000 stitches to go, it kind of makes me want to just have this as a focus piece again this week and maybe just knock it out before we get too far into March. However, I do want to at least pick up Elizabeth Masterton this week and get some stitches in, so we'll see. But I feel like I've got a pretty good chance. You know, we're at the 17th of March, but I've got a pretty good chance now that I will be able to finish it in the next couple weeks by the end of March. Even if that means I just put, you know, 800 stitches in per week and kind of space it out, I think by the 31st, which is also a Tuesday if I'm not mistaken, I think by the 31st it will be completed. So stay tuned for that, and I'll keep stitching on it. All right, and the next WIP I pulled out this week was one that you haven't seen in a few weeks, but this is a Treasury of Compassion. This is a piece from Teresa Kogut, and it's got this beautiful prayer in the center that I love kind of reading and reminding myself about, to just offer compassion to people. We need more compassion in the world these days. I don't think I have a video of where I was when I started this piece because I kind of forgot to take it. However, I did post a little Flosstube extra of me stitching on this piece. This was for my Patreon members. They voted to add an additional 140 stitches in for the month of March to this piece, and I added 170 stitches and kind of showed that on the Flosstube extra, the Stitch With Me. So what I worked on this time was down here. I think I had stopped right at the bottom of the bird last time, so I added in all of these leaves and the top of this flower pot here, and also this word too. So that is, yeah, believe it or not, that's 170 stitches. Here's the full piece though. This is stitched on a 36 count unknown fabric. I don't know the dye or the fabric dyer, and this is using the called for Valdani threads, which I think is Golden Autumn is the name of it. And they are just beautiful variegated flosses. I'm really excited. And this one is actually not too far from the finish. You know, I do have the angels down here that go on either side, and then this connects at the bottom here. And of course, all the words on the second half of the page. But yeah, it's definitely over 50% complete, and really, really enjoying this one too. So it was fun to pull it back out and add a few stitches. All right, and the final cross-stitch WIP that I worked on was Mr. and Mrs. Claus. This is a kit from Olanta, and this is quickly becoming one of my favorites and a lot of your favorites too. You know, when I started this kit, I didn't actually know if anybody would be interested in watching me stitch this, but I just thought the kit was super cute, and now that I'm getting further and further into it, it seems like you're getting more and more into it as well, which is super exciting. So this is the kit. That's what it's going to look like in the end. I'm still over here in this section, and I will put a video in here of where I was when I started the week. Okay, here's my starting point for Mr. and Mrs. Claus for this week. And I think I'm actually going to do some stitching over here. So I think I'm going to work on this section underneath here and then see if I can get into the back stitching. So you will see where I get to. Now this was pulled out for temperature stitching, and it was to complete the Witch Whip category of temperature stitching for 500 stitches, 5 days. And I am happy to say I did put at least 500 stitches in. I know that. I don't have an exact number since I'm stitching on a paper pattern, but yeah, definitely put in over 500 stitches, which I'm super happy about. I'm also going to put a picture up here of what this piece, well, let me just show you where I got to and then we'll do a comparison. But here is Mr. and Mrs. Claus. This is what it looks like. I'm so happy with my progress on this piece. I did not imagine, oh, let me get these threads out of the way. I did not imagine that I would be this far from bringing this piece down here to Florida, but super happy that I am, and really, really loving how it is looking. Now, you'll notice what I did this week is the stitching I added were these two presents over here and this half of this rug and the cute little cat that is sitting on the rug there. You'll also notice that I did all the back stitching from about here down, including this lamp, the light right there. So everything is now backstitched, including all those stones, the stockings, the fire, the presents, the cat, most of the rug. That's all backstitching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a picture side by side here of what it looks like before backstitching and after backstitching, just so you can see what a difference, especially on a piece like this, that it really makes. Isn't that awesome? But yeah, I'm so happy with this. I really, really love how it looks. The detail that they're able to get in the cat and the fire, you know, there are a lot of color changes, but it is so worth it. And when you add the backstitching to that cat, just so cute. So the rug does extend further over here, and there are two more presents. One that I've kind of started right here at the very top of it, and then there's another present right here, and that's why this gap is kind of here at the bottom of the tree. So if and when I pull this out next, it might not be till Christmas in July, we'll see. But those presents would definitely be the next thing I work on to fill in that little gap. And then we are basically done. It's kind of cut into 3 sections, right, this piece. So the first section is kind of the tree and the fireplace. The second section is Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And the third section is this bookshelf here. And so that kind of means that I'm about a third through this project, which again, I never thought I'd be that far bringing this down here. I'm super glad it continued to get called after Christmas and allowed me to get that fireplace completed. That's much further than I thought I would be on a Christmas piece like this. And yeah, I really just love it. I'm super, super happy with how it turned out. There are also beads that go in here. So you might be able to see there's some holes throughout this garland here. There'll be gold beads and red beads that go in there. Now the reason I didn't add them quite yet is I don't have my invisible thread that I probably will use for those beads. I'm not exactly sure what I'll use, but I think I'm going to try the invisible thread and see how it looks on this. That way I can just use one thread and put in all the beads instead of having to switch colors. So I will probably do that when I get back to New York and have the thread there, just so I don't forget the beads, or maybe I'll wait till Christmas in July. I'm not sure, but that is the only section that is kind of missing something from what I did. Everything else is fully backstitched and ready to go. So thank you for voting for it for Witch Whip, and really glad that we got this amount of progress on a beautiful piece like this. All right, and those are all my cross stitch whips for the week. The next thing I want to share with you is my crochet experience. And you saw the first 2 kind of bands of the blanket that I'm trying to knit or crochet for Winston. And I will show you the update now of where I'm at. So here is what I got done. So these are the 4 colors that I'm going to be using this. Oops, I think it actually goes this way. Not that it matters, but the blue, the like kind of orangish salmon color, the brown, and then the yellow. So those will be the colors of the piece. And yeah, this is where I got to. So a couple things I wanted to call out is, one, on this side, I think it is getting longer. I think I was adding an extra crochet at the end here. I was doing a double crochet instead of a single, and I think that is what just kept making it get wider. Now, I'm not too worried about it. Winston isn't going to be worried about it. It'll just be more blanket for him. But I am trying to now do a single crochet and see if that sort of evens it out on this side instead of the double. I think I was just kind of doing that wrong. I do think my stitches are starting to look pretty good. I'm still learning a lot, and there's still a lot that is not perfect in this piece, but you know, it's a start. I'm enjoying it, and I think Winston will like it. You'll see here, especially in this section, I'm not sure exactly what happened, why those blue stitches are standing out so much more than kind of the other ones around it, but yeah, not sure about that. And then there are definitely places where I've got, you know, the tails that I was weaving in, and so you can kind of see that pretty clearly here. I might try to pull that out and then weave it back in more into the actual color instead of into the browns here. And some of the tails from the color changes are still here in the back that I will have to kind of weave in as I go. I've been trying this technique to kind of weave in the tails as I start working the next new color. And sometimes it's been working. I think in through here it looks pretty good, but then sometimes it just looks a little wonky and hasn't been working quite as well, but learning it, and yeah, that's enough. But here's where I'm at so far, and this will be Winston's little blanket. Crochet has been such a fun learning experience, and just allowing myself to make mistakes in my first piece and to not have it be perfect. You know, there is no such thing as perfection. And I'm definitely learning that, and this piece has allowed me to let myself not be perfect. And it's been fun to just kind of keep learning as I go. I'm getting more comfortable with the stitches themselves, and so I feel like I understand the stitches more, which is great for the future. But yeah, just enjoying the pattern and having fun with it, and that's what's important, right? Thank you all for some of the tips that you gave me on how to crochet and some channels to watch. That's been very helpful as well. And yeah, I'll just keep working on it little by little. It's been nice to have as a project where I can kind of take it with me in the car, stitch on a little bit here if I don't want to bring a full cross-stitch kit or something expansive like that. So it's been fun, and I will definitely continue working on it, and we'll keep building this out so Winston has maybe a warm blanket for next winter. All right, and those are all the WIPs that I worked on this week, so I hope you enjoyed that update. Let's move a little bit into plans for the week. Of course, my plans are to get the stitches in for SAGA. I think that will finish that arch that I'm working on, so 550 stitches will go into that. I also want to at least pick up Elizabeth Masterton and add some of those stitches that I'm behind on because I did miss that piece this week. So that is another one of my plans. And then we get into temperature stitching. Now, last week we had to pick a new WIP for the Which WIP category, and the two options were Woodland Enchantress or Elizabeth Masterton, the sampler. I will put a picture in here of what the final vote count was, but for Woodland Enchantress it was 35, and for the sampler piece it was 23. So Woodland Enchantress won, and now that will be in 2 temperature stitching categories, which is awesome. That's a piece that I've wanted to get more progress on and just seems to be continue falling by the wayside. So it'll be nice to have it in 2 categories, and it'll be chunks of stitching each week that I can get done on that piece. I'm excited. I will put a picture of the new temperature stitching chart up here. Basically what was called was 3 days for Under the Oaks and then 4 days for Woodland Enchantress. So 300 stitches will go into the Merejka kit and 400 stitches will go into Woodland Enchantress. The other goal that I have for the end of the month is my second WIP Go call. As you know, I already completed the first one on Mr. and Mrs Claus. The second call for me is Woodland Enchantress, believe it or not. So even more stitches for that piece. I don't think I will get to it this week. I really think I will continue focusing on Fruits of Plenty this week and probably Elizabeth Masterton, but by the end of March, there will be an additional 500 stitches that goes into Woodland Enchantress for my WIP Go call. And other than that, that's enough plans, honestly. This week actually ended up being a lot busier than I thought it would be, and I think that really cut into my stitching time, which is totally okay. It was a great week. I had a lovely day with my parents on our day trip, was able to film at that location, which will be posted probably in a week or 2, and that was exciting. We had a really lovely day. It was, I think, 90 degrees the day we were out, so it was really hot. And then over the weekend, my nephew ended up surprising me and coming up to my parents' house for a night. And so there were about 24 hours where we just played. Mostly Legos, building Legos and playing with them. But it was so much fun to have him here. I wasn't sure if I'd get to see him again before I went back, and it was so fun to have him come up here and spend the night with us. And it was just a really fun activity, but did take away from stitching time, and that's totally fine. I wouldn't want it any other way. And so I think the week just kind of got busier than I was expecting, and that's fine too. You know, that might be the case, especially as I continue looking for jobs, and you know, eventually we'll get one. There will be less stitching that comes my way, less time for stitching, but that's all right. You know, we all go through these seasons of life where we have more spare time, less spare time, and stitching kind of ebbs and flows with that, right? But it's always there for us whenever we want to pick it back up and whenever we need some comfort stitching. As far as running goes, I did run 11 miles this past weekend, which felt great. That's the longest run I've had in a while, probably since the marathon in November, honestly. So felt really good to get back up to that distance. It ended up being a beautiful morning on Saturday morning. I think it was in the upper 50s, and it was cloudy, so the sun wasn't out so bright. And I just really enjoyed myself. I took my time in the run and just enjoyed getting out there for that distance. So that was encouraging. And this coming weekend, I will have a 12-mile run. So kind of ramping back up. And the next thing I'm sort of training for is a half marathon in Brooklyn in mid-May. So that will be the next kind of race that I have coming up that we'll be training for. But running is still going well. I'm still getting out there at least, you know, 5 times a week is kind of the pattern that I'm in right now. And also the walks have been really fun, and that's been kind of getting me a little extra exercise on the days that I'm not running. As I said, I'm going to be posting the St. Augustine walk this week on my Andrew in Stride, the other YouTube channel I started. And I've got 2 other walks ready to go for you guys, so they will be posted in the coming weeks. And I think I've still got 1 or 2 locations here in Florida that I'd like to film before I head back to New York. But it's hard to believe we're already at the middle of March, and I will probably be going back the beginning of April-ish. And that will be exciting, because then I have a whole new world of things I can record and share with you guys in New York City. And I think that will be a lot of fun, especially as we get into spring and summer and the city really comes alive. I'm excited for that. I hope you've had a little bit of a taste of warmer weather. I know there was some snow that some people had this week again, but hopefully that doesn't linger around too much, and I hope spring is coming for you, because the official day is just this Friday. So spring has to get here. The weather has to keep up with these days, right? But yeah, I hope you're leaning more towards spring than you are towards winter now. I know I'm excited for the warmer weather back in New York, and yeah, just this season of spring, of new growth, of new birth, and it's all really, really exciting. All right, I think that's all I've got for you today. So thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad you're here. I love making these videos with you guys. Tuesdays is always one of my favorite days. No matter what my attitude is or what my mood is that morning, whenever I sit down to film a Flosstube videos with you guys, it really just lifts my spirits. I really love connecting with you in this way, and it's been really good for me, especially in this time when, you know, I'm in this transition phase, and it's been really good to have this as a consistent thing on Tuesdays where I come and meet with all of you, my friends, and that's been really just lovely. So that's all I've got. Keep running if you're a runner, always keep stitching, and be kind to whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now, until the next stitch. As far as running goes, this past weekend I did run my 11-mile run that I was called for, and it ended up being I think I've got a video where it was Winston, you didn't even want to say hi today? The video's over. Now you wanted to say hi? Oh, you missed the whole video. You were sleeping. Yeah, you were sleeping the whole video. Here he is. Can you say hi? Say hi, people.